Alright, so we got another one of these MSI laptops. This is an MSI GS63VR-6RF-469US, and then another bunch of numbers and stuff afterwards. But the main thing with this one, I don't know if they dropped it or what, it's kind of like bent here. Okay, their fans aren't bad, surprise, because normally this model has broken fans all the time. On this model, actually, their screen is having problems. And I have a feeling that's from this thing keeps hitting it. So likely we have to replace the fan. Let's actually take the not the fan, the screen. But let's go ahead and take the bottom cover off. Alright, if you've seen my other videos, you've already seen this model several times. But anyways, I want to keep all the screws in order, so I put the screws flat side up or flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Okay, so you can put them in whatever layout works for you, but you want to keep them in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths, and if you mix them up, you can damage your computer. Right, so there's 3 going like that, and then on the next row, I guess I'll count these as 2. And again, you just do this however works for you. This screw's a little bit stuck. I'm probably going to use a magnet to get that out. Okay, again, just use whatever method works for you. You don't have to copy me. You can use, some people put tape. I actually have a magnet tray that I use in some cases. Not like those black flat magnet things. Those magnets are not strong enough. The one that's like a powdered plasticky thing. I actually made my own special magnet tray to do this kind of stuff. But this is a lot of screws, so I'm not going to use that because it's going to be too many for that tray. Alright, anyways, we're just going to go ahead and continue removing all these screws. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue getting all these screws out. Alright. Okay, once we've got that, we're going to remove the back hinge cover thing. Again, if you've seen me work on these, I've worked on this model several times before. Alright, so this has these little clip latches that you can actually move out of the way. It's a little bit tricky. Because it's already bent and broken, it's kind of a little bit easier to lift here. Normally it's not going to be that easy, but you basically have to pull this part of the hinge cover out this way while kind of also pulling it down. And here you can see it unlatches. Once you unlatch the whole thing, you can actually swing it back like this and it comes out. Okay, the way this works, I mean, there's a lot of pieces broken off here, so it's not going to work right. But they have these little clips that kind of hook underneath here, and then other parts that hook into this. All right, we're going to set that aside. Excuse me. All right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to pull this cover up. So kind of just wiggle it. Be very careful because there's the power button cable there. We're going to carefully open this up, swing it, wiggle it, and there we go. We got the bottom cover off. My nose is all stopped up. Alright, anyways, oh, I forgot. I opened this a little bit earlier to take a look at this. So their USB 3 ports weren't working. So I took a look. I put it back how it was so I can show you what's going on. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the battery here. We technically don't need to pop this out. I was worried that this was popped out because the way it's bent. But I don't know if you can see this. The fan, it's bent like crazy here. I don't know if there's a way I can even bend this thing back to where it will stay. Maybe I should try, because if we're going to take this stuff out, we might as well fix everything in there for them. Alright, or at least try. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to try and pop this battery out first. And just like all the other models, I know people are going to complain and say, like, why are you using metal? But don't worry, as long as you're not puncturing this, you don't want to use something sharp, okay? This isn't sharp, it's not a knife. You want something flexible too, okay? So if you don't have something like this, you can use whatever works for you. Maybe don't use your actual credit cards because you'll probably break them. But if you have those junk ones or throwaway ones that are expired, you can go ahead and try and use those. Whatever works. Any kind of tool that you can find, You don't have to use the same kind of tool as me. But anyways, I'm going to pry this up and push the adhesive down. Okay, so while I'm kind of prying this up still, we're going to go around over here as well. Going to go, it helps to go where these plastic, raised plastic tabs are, and then lift up there. Okay, and you want to be careful not to pry the stuff that's underneath. You just want to lift the battery itself. Okay, and this one's actually holding really strong, so hopefully we can actually pop this out. Okay, once you kind of get underneath, you can hopefully get under with your hands, and you kind of want to apply even pressure across to kind of lift the whole thing up slowly. Likely some of the adhesive under there is just going to separate from the foam, but that's okay. All right, continue lifting. All right, and there we go. So now we got the battery lifted up. Here you can see the cable under here. Okay, it's all floppy. I don't know what they did. They must have really like dropped this really hard. But anyways, we're gonna disconnect the battery. So to do that, let me zoom in. We're gonna be pulling on the battery, but also trying to get as close to the cable as we can. And you kind of just wiggle this. So you kind of wiggle this connector here, and you pull it as you wiggle, and there we go. If you're getting a replacement battery, this adhesive is peeling up. So let me see if I can keep it separate. There we go. So I'm going to stick that back down. All right, so battery looks like this. Model is here, BTY-M6J. Okay, it's pretty dusty, so let me actually clean this off to the trash can next to me. All right, just get that dust out. Okay, so there's the battery. It actually doesn't look as bad as I was thinking. I thought it was going to be all inflated because this cable got yanked out, but actually it doesn't look like that's the case. So we'll set the battery aside for now. Next thing we're going to do, the reason why the USB-C ports, at least I think, aren't working is these cables are actually, this cable, sorry, not cables, this one cable, there's this adhesive stuff on top, but it's still, even with the adhesive, got yanked out, like slightly, so this cable was actually crooked, right? Anyways, we're gonna get this adhesive out, so I'm using this little plastic pokey tool to kind of just get underneath. And I'm actually going close to the connector, so that way, because usually this can't go follow the entire edge, so it has a little gap there for me to get under. There we go. All right, and this is what was crooked. So basically, you flip this latch up, make sure that goes back into place properly, and then you can actually just click that back down. But I'm going to take this out for now because we are going to have to check it. Other thing I'm worried about is it looks like there's a crease here, which that's not good. I don't know why they put a giant lump here. Yeah, that's not good at all. So this plastic piece here, this bump that's sticking up, that's very bad. That's a bad design. I'm gonna actually cut that thing off because that's not even doing anything. It's just bad design to where it's damaging itself. Okay, it's trying to help hold some plastic stuff to this, but what's the point of holding the plastic to that if you're just going to destroy the rest of your design? So there you go. I don't know if that fixed it, but we'll find out. Okay, I don't know why my Google thing, Chromecast, just reset itself, so now I can't see what's on my screen. Anyways, what happened to that plastic I cut here? Oops, I lost it. Okay, I'm going to blow that thing out. I don't want that to stay inside here. Okay, let me make sure I get that broken plastic piece out. So I don't want that rolling inside. Okay, then we're going to have to also check this side. Again, my Chromecast turned off, so I can't even see what I'm recording. I might have to stop this and then start again. But we'll probably want to check this side as well. Same idea. Peel up the tape. Okay, peel this up. All right, peel that up. Peel that up. All right, get that out of the way. All right, and do that on the other one as well. All right, peel that up. Okay, and then we're gonna, same thing, flip this latch, make sure it's in all the way. Okay, once you make sure it's in all the way and you're holding it there, then you can go ahead and slide this latch back down. Good, and you can actually see, now that it's in all the way, you can barely see that white line coming out, okay? I think before you could actually see a lot more of that line coming out. Now when we latch it down, it's actually almost hidden completely underneath. So we're gonna put this tape back over. Okay, I don't know who designed this so bad like this that it's damaging itself. All right. The battery like pushes on this and pulls on it, which is not a good design. All right. So again, the customer didn't ask me to take the whole motherboard apart, but I feel like it's necessary because this thing is bent. So we're going to try and fix that. All right. Anyways, I've done this before, but let me restart my phone and I'll be back to show the whole process. All right. So I'm back. Let's go ahead and start getting this stuff removed. So we're going to peel this away from here. I'm going to hold this rubber piece down. All right. Hold this stuff down. Hold this rubber piece down as well. Okay. And then we're going to just roll this tape here so it stays. It's going to stick to this rubber down here. So we're just going to roll this over and kind of somewhat stick it down there. Okay. Let's kind of zoom in. Disconnect the trackpad connector by flipping that latch and pulling this back. Keyboard, same thing. You might have to lift it up with this tab, pull it back. Okay. Did I do the... Oh no, I didn't do... Okay. Excuse me. One other thing you want to do before, especially before you touch this LCD LVDS connector, that is very important. Make sure this connector's in. This is the power button connector. I might have to clear my throat for this because, oh man. All right, anyways, you want to press and hold the power button 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This will make it a lot safer to work on. All right. And especially for the screen cable, if you don't do this, there's a very good chance you're going to kill your computer or fry the backlight circuit. So 15 seconds, just take the little few seconds to do this and you won't regret it. All right, done. One thing I didn't mention, there is this battery reset button hole here. If you use like a folded out paper clip or a needle or something, you can actually press and hold that and it somewhat acts like a battery disconnect and reconnect, but that's just for the main battery. Sometimes if your computer doesn't power up right, then doing that will fix it. All right, anyways, let me go see if I can somehow clear my throat and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I think my voice is cleared up pretty well right now. Okay, so we got this stuff out. We're going to remove this keyboard backlight connector. Okay, same thing. Hold that tape out of the way. All right, what else? We got, oh, my nose is still stuffed a little. All right, we're gonna now remove these. I don't know why they put the tape over the button there, but apparently they did for this model or this laptop. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and peel this up. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, this is the battery reset button I was talking about. Okay, I'm gonna flip this latch up for the hard drive. Flip this latch up, I think that's for the LEDs on the front, the notification LEDs, and then flip this up for the power button here. Okay, to remove the hard drive, we're going to pull this slightly back and up as well. You want to be very careful with this cable, it's fragile. And then if you can't get this hard drive out, I mean, if you can grab it from the sides like this, you can lift it out. If you can't, you can use like a small screwdriver or something that can fit in here, and you can use that to kind of pull it out. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. What else? We got the CMOS or BIOS battery there. Okay, don't forget to remove the cable for the notification LEDs or activity lights, and also the power button cable here. Try and get this plastic tab here if you can, okay, to pull it out, because you don't want to try and pinch the cable and then end up damaging that. So if you can't grab that piece, wow, why is it so tough to remove? Okay, I don't know why it's so tough to pull that out. Guess I'll have to use some like small pliers or something for that. So let me get better tools for this. Give me a second. Alright, does this one have teeth? Kind of, but this is probably too big. Yeah, let's just use the regular needle nose pliers. Okay, so we'll use this. Again, try and just grab the plastic tab and then you can kind of wiggle and pull it out. Wow, why is that so tough? Okay, and we'll pull that out. There we go. And now we got the power button connector out. Okay, next thing we have to remove these. Just like on the other one, I've done so many of this model. Okay, we're going to go ahead and peel this tape up. Okay, we're going to go from this side so that way this side can kind of stay on the motherboard. Alright, just peel that up. And then we'll flip that latch. Once you flip that, get underneath, kind of lift it slightly and pull it back. Oh, I guess that tape doesn't stay. Well, we'll just leave that there, I guess. Alright, we'll peel that up. I'm going to have to zoom out because I don't have room to move this around anymore. So you want to try and keep the cable as flat as possible. You don't want to try and just fold it backwards. Alright, so what I do is I kind of like pull it in the direction that the tape is, or the cable is going. And then while you're doing that, kind of slowly peel it up. And there we go. We'll move that cable out of the way. Alright, let's also actually remove this board as well. So we got 2 screws here. They told me their Ethernet port was also loose, so let's remove the 2 screws holding this Ethernet port board in place. I think we might have to remove the wireless card first, but let's see. Okay, can we remove this first? Oh yeah, we can remove this first. Okay, so we'll remove that once we got those 2 screws up. We're going to peel up this adhesive that's on here. You can peel up whichever side you want first. Okay, peel that up. Okay, just like that, and then flip that latch. Once you flip that latch, you can go ahead and pull this out. This cable actually looks to be fine, so I don't know if it's something to do with this, or it could also be just because this is bent here, but it's not like there's really a way you can permanently fix this because it's cracked here, and when it gets pushed out evenly, it ends up like forming a bulge. I don't know why it's like layered like that, or why it's, oh, it might be because this is bent. So we are going to have to, I guess, fix that bend, hopefully. Okay, next thing we're going to do is peel this out of the way and undo the screw here. I think I can actually leave these wireless antennas connected to the wireless card, we'll see. But if you need to see how to remove the wireless antennas, I have another video showing that pretty much on a lot of the other laptops. I'm going to use my fingernail here to push this part back while I kind of lift the back of this up with my other finger here. Okay, and then we're going to wiggle that. And there we go. I'm going to see if I can leave this here. It really depends where the antennas are going, and if I remember correctly, I can actually leave it in. So, alright, let's zoom out. Oh, we do have this one last cable here. Make sure to flip that latch up and then pull that cable out. I think that's just for the light that shows that the power's on. Okay, let's see about all the other screws. Alright, let's see here. Also, this one, they don't really mark where the screws came from. So what I like to do is I like to take a Sharpie that's a different color, and I'll use that to just make marks where I remove the screw from, so I can remember. Alright, so I'll do that. You can use whatever you want, whatever works for you. If you want, you can even just take a picture of it. Again, I can't really take a picture of it because I'm actually doing this job right now using my phone, the camera. So what I'm doing right now, I can't really just look at my phone while I'm putting it back together. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove this screw as well down here. Okay. Mark that one. Alright, what else we got? Going around. Make sure we don't miss any screws. We got 2 screws here, and then 1 screw holding the fan. So I think that's exactly like the other one. So we're gonna get those 3 in a row. Of course the fan one is like black, so I wouldn't be able to see blue marker on it, but that's, I'll just remember that's where it came from. Okay, so we'll mark this 1 and 2. All right, and I think that's all of them. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and lift the motherboard out. I'll zoom out a tad bit more. Okay, let's see if I can show you guys this process. So just try and grab the motherboard. Remember, these rubber things are somewhat in the way, so when you lift it, we're probably going to have to make sure that you're grabbing the motherboard and not other stuff. Okay, so we're going to kind of grab this, wiggle it, carefully lift it, make sure the cables aren't getting caught on it. You don't want to actually get the cables caught and then rip them out. Okay, so make sure the cables go underneath. We're going to actually peel off the CMOS or BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here. You can just disconnect it, but I don't like resetting the BIOS if I don't have to. So I'm going to just hopefully peel this up, and hopefully we can put it back afterwards. And looks like there's a sticky adhesive underneath here that's somewhat coming out. So here you can see we should be able to just stick that back down. Okay, so we're going to continue lifting. Oh, we do have to also disconnect the speaker cable down here, which will be a little tough because there's not much room to work with. To make it easier, you can actually physically just lift the speaker out. It's just held in with these little rubber pieces, and then you can actually grab the wings here and use your fingernails to kind of just wiggle it as you pull, and it should be able to pop out. Wow, this connector is actually pretty strong, but just keep wiggling as you pull, and there we go. Also keep in mind which way the connector is going. You don't want to put it upside down. I can't really get it to focus right now because I'm holding the motherboard and I don't want to drop it on the cables. There you go. So it looks like that. You don't want to have it upside down where it shows the metal pins, okay, when you plug it in. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and continue lifting this, wiggling. Be careful that it's not getting caught on anything. Okay, and wiggle, and there we go. Okay, so we got this out. This is actually really dusty and dirty, so I am going to clean it. I'm going to clean this as well. Basically, I just use a toothbrush, and then I use an electric air blower to blow the dust off, but you want to be careful with these cables. You don't want to move them around too much because you can damage them that way. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Clean the bottom cover. I also cleaned this. As you can see, it's a lot cleaner now. Okay, cleaned up all the fans. This stuff wouldn't scrub off, but the dust came out. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what's going on. The motherboard, this part is actually bent. It's actually not the motherboard, it's the heatsink, but as you can see, it's really badly bent. Okay, so I'm not sure how I would bend this back. Jeez. It's actually bent so much that it's actually, like, if I push this down, it lifts up this side. So I don't know if I should even risk trying to bend it back, because that might actually also bend the motherboard itself. I don't want to bend the motherboard itself. Alright, what I'm going to try, let's see, I want to lift this. No, that's too risky, I think. I have to kind of just try and bend it a little bit like this. But you want to be careful because you don't want to damage the pipe to where it like gets a cut in it. So I'm just carefully, slowly, I'm using like my hands to kind of like pull it like this. And I don't know if that's even doing anything. This thing is like so badly bent. Okay, so I don't know, guys. Actually, that did work. I mean, it is making more of these little divots in the pipe, but that's actually a lot better. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than before. Okay. I don't know if I have to kind of like try and bend it elsewhere. Let's see here. Is that straight enough? It's a lot better. think I still have to kind of do a little bit more. But it's on the motherboard side, I think. It's like here that's bent. So I don't know how I can, do I like push on this while I'm kind of lifting this? Is that working a little bit? Let's try and, I don't want to bend the motherboard. I'm putting most of the pressure on the heatsink itself with my fingers here helping, like, but again, you want to be very careful with this. Okay. You don't want to attempt this if you don't know what you're doing. It's pretty risky. Okay. This thing should also be somewhat twisted now. This, like this. Like, what in the world? Ow, that's taking a lot of force too. Okay, so this pipe needs to somewhat bend down a little bit as well, but yeah, there's like a bend, a crease right there. So I don't know how we're gonna completely fix that. I don't think we can, because I don't want to, again, I don't want to bend the motherboard too much, but let's take a look. That's much better, much better. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. I don't want to push it too hard and then end up making things worse. So let's go ahead and start putting this thing back together and see what we got. You can actually see, I think this piece, for the most part, bent itself back a bit. Okay, again, this piece doesn't line up right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to snip off the tiny bit of excess. I'm going to snip a tiny bit of this piece out, because the way it's bending, it's making it overlap, and then that makes it stick out too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it kind of away from the motherboard, but I'm going to cut a tiny bit of that out. Sorry, I know I'm not zooming in enough for this for you guys, but okay, I'm going to cut this side because this side's longer. Basically, I'll just go in between where they overlap and then cut there. Okay, that worked. Make sure, okay, throw that piece away. And hopefully here you can see, now instead of having a gap, or instead of like overlapping and then bulging together to push outwards, it's now kind of flat. There's a little gap there, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead now and put the motherboard back in. We'll get this over here. Okay, we're gonna slowly go in at an angle like this, basically the opposite of how we took it out. Tricky thing is you have to make sure all these cables end up back on top. All right, very important. They need to end up back on top, because if they end up underneath, you're not going to be able to get the cables back out to plug them in. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is hold these two down here. Okay, I'm going to use my fingers here and just hold them out of the way, and we're going to slowly drop that in. Okay, again, this is going to be tricky. We've got all these cables over here. You're going to also have to hold them all out of the way. Okay, and it might not want to just drop into place, so you want to make sure everything goes in properly. Okay, make sure you get everything lined up and it's all going in. Okay, we are going to have to put that back, the speaker cable as well. All right, make sure that these rubber pieces aren't getting caught. They always like to do that. Oh, I forgot to mention, because I'm pretty sure some people will ask. There's 2 sticks of RAM and there's an M.2. This is a SATA SSD. I think it supports PCIe NVMe. I'm not 100% sure. Sucky thing is this RAM is Kingston RAM, and Kingston RAM normally doesn't show what type of speed or anything. I know it's PC4 or DDR4 RAM, but I don't know what speed. I don't even know what storage capacity this is. I mean, you can look up the information here and see if that helps you with anything, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna put this back now. Okay, So again, hold these two cables out of the way down here. Line that up. Slowly drop it down into place. Again, make sure these other cables are out of the way. Okay. Oh, this tape stuck to it. That's going to make it more difficult. Okay. Make sure to pull this rubber piece back. Okay. Let's see here. Come on. Get everything lined up. Good. Make sure this cable and this cable are on top as well. Make sure this cable is on top as well. Okay, I'm going to have to use the plastic tool to kind of get in there and pull that back out, just like that. Okay, slowly, carefully dropping it. Again, make sure these rubber pieces are out of the way. And make sure that's out of the way. And it looks like that dropped all the way down, but it's still sticking up for some reason. Okay, I think because this adhesive is causing problems. Let me get it off of these cables. All right. There we go. Stick it over this way. Huh, something trapped under here? Or is it just because the way it bent back? It might just be the way it bent back. Okay, so make sure those rubber pieces, good. Those are all out. Let me see, can I see anything caught under there? That looks funny. Nope. Okay, so other than that stuff, make sure the cables end up back on top. Slowly dropping it back down. Again, make sure the cable's on top. Okay. Alright, so is it really that bend is making that huge of a difference? Okay, make sure that rubber's out of the way again. It got caught underneath again. As you can see, it's still kind of bouncing up. Interesting. Well, it is what it is. I think it's something else is still bent, maybe the piece underneath, but hopefully the screws will hold it well enough that it should be okay. All right, so let's actually get the motherboard screws back in. Again, we have one holding the fan over here. Then we got two going across this part of the motherboard, somewhat in line with the fan screw. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Next we got this one screw up here, right underneath the fan. Okay. And then we got the two down here, one on this side and one on this side. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and put this speaker back in. Again, make sure that you have it lined up right. They actually drew marker on it. You want the flat side with no pins showing facing up. Okay, line that up. And then pinch both sides, push both sides in, good. Then we'll just get this back into place. Drop it down, good. Okay, you can put the CMOS battery back into place. Just coil it around like that, stick it back down, good. Okay, maybe I should be zooming in for all of this now. All right, we'll get this tiny power button cable in first. Lift that latch, get it lined up. All right, and then slide your finger over to latch it back down. All right, LCD LVDS connector. Let me zoom out a tiny bit here. Okay, this one, kind of guide it through this little gap here. Then make sure this latches up. Same thing. Get that cable in. Very important that you make sure this one's in all the way. Okay, make sure that cable goes in all the way. Flip your finger over to latch it down, and then you can work your way up from like that to stick it back into place. You can put this piece of tape back on if we want. Okay. All right, I guess let's put the wireless card back in. Just line it up. I'm going to use the same thing but on the other side. Actually, we can actually push the chip in just like this. Okay. Once you make sure it's in, you can go ahead and push that back down. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the screw back in. So get the screw over here back into place. Make sure to hold that out of the way. Good. Alright. Put that tape back on. Oops, sorry, you guys aren't even seeing what I did. I just pushed the wireless card back in. It goes slightly at an angle. The metal thing that the screw goes into is actually has a slightly raised point where if you don't put it in right, this wireless card won't sit properly. So you want to be careful not to screw that in if it's not lined up right, because then you can smash the wireless card in there. Okay, next we're going to put in this Ethernet port board. Okay, so just line the connector up. Okay, get that in, make sure it's in all the way. And then same thing, use your finger to slide the latch down. Alright, then just put that tape back in. Then we're just going to drop this into the right place. Okay, and then we'll get the two screws and put those back in. Alright, should be good now. I'm trying to actually pull it out towards the edge. Let's actually loosen this a little bit just in case. Alright, and then go ahead and tighten it back in. Tighten that. That way the port is for sure as far or out to the outside as possible. Okay. Alright, next we got this cable for the 3 USB-C ports, or USB 3 ports. Make sure that tape is out of the way. Okay, get that cable in. Oh, make sure the latch is up, of course. Get that in. Okay, make sure it's in all the way. And then you can go ahead and slide the latch down. Slide the tape back over. Good. Alright, make sure this latch is up. Same thing. Guide that in. Make sure it's in all the way. I like to use my fingernail at the edge of the blue tabs, or those plastic tabs, because it's raised slightly, and I can use that to help push that into place. Okay, keyboard cable, same thing, get that in. Sometimes you have to kind of raise the back up slightly, and then again slide that over. Keyboard backlight connector, same thing. Line that up. Get that in. Alright, we can go ahead and put this yellow tape back over everything. Not that it really does much, but we'll just put it. Okay. Next thing we got is this connector here. I'm going to have to do this at an angle because the screws and the table. Alright. This cable in. Alright. Once that's in, go ahead and latch this down. Alright, power button cable. I like to use my fingernail to kind of pull it back. Oh, you have to make sure that latch is up, of course. Okay. And then it goes back in automatically. Push that in all the way. And then slide your finger over the latch. Okay, we're not going to put the battery back yet because, again, we still have to do the screen. So let's go ahead and zoom out. There's so much to this model. Okay, battery should still be drained. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. And then see if we can pop this out. It's most likely held in with adhesive all the way around, so we're probably going to have to pull on this pretty hard. If your screen is in working condition, you don't want to do this because there's a good chance you're going to damage your screen. I don't know if you can hear the adhesive peeling there. So you just keep peeling. And this, you can't really rush this too much. You want to go kind of slow. And also, because this stuff is plastic, I don't like using heat, so. Okay, so it's like separating the back layer and the front layer on certain spots. So, here we go. Okay, so now we got this started. You can kind of pull from both sides now. Okay. Do they not put clips on here? It's just fully adhesive. Interesting. It looks like it might just be 100% adhesive holding back here. Okay, so we're just going to keep peeling this up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, how am I going to show this? Because I don't have the area on my desk to move this around. Okay, so we're just going to continue peeling this. And it's actually separating part of the screen adhesive stuff from the screen itself, so kind of want to be a little careful. If you want, you can use a tool like this, and again, you don't want something sharp, and you can use that to kind of help move the adhesive. In this case, because the adhesive is stretching, I might end up just trying to break the adhesive there, but yeah, it's being, I don't know, it's being annoying. Okay, so we're gonna slowly continue, keep peeling this up. Okay, continue working our way over. Okay, we can kind of peel up the whole thing. That sucks. We're gonna have to definitely redo the adhesive on this whole thing because the way they designed it, you basically have to. Okay, as you can see, I'm just kind of rocking it side to side now, and that's working. Okay, so this bezel's just all glued in place. There's no clips, as you can see. Okay. Hopefully they don't have screws holding this as well. Okay, this adhesive's not good anymore under here, so I'm just going to tear it off. Okay, it broke. Oh, there's more on this side. Are you serious? Is the camera separating from the screen? Okay, well, I don't know what's going on there. I need to get that to separate. So the camera here is actually coming away from the thing. So let's see, can we peel this up with it? Okay, well, there's the, oh, there's some adhesive under there. So the camera cable is actually going around this way. I don't know why it's coming out with it, but let's go ahead and just peel this adhesive away because we don't need it. And then later we're going to have to tuck the camera back in because the camera came out and it wasn't supposed to, because it got caught in the adhesive. All right, make sure the cable here is secured. Good. All right, let's peel this off as well because this one's also tearing and I don't feel like it's supposed to. Okay. So, next thing, what do we got? Okay, let's go up this way, same thing. Is it gonna pull the whole, it's gonna pull the whole webcam cable with it. So I gotta make sure to keep the camera cable from coming up. Terrible design. Whose idea was this? Okay, there we go. So now I think we got most of this out. Yep. And also this thing keeps getting caught in there. Okay. Next thing, we got to peel the bottom part of here out as well. It might help to unlatch the hinge parts as well if they didn't already. So here you can see this side kind of already unlatched. Let's see if we can do that on this side. Usually I just get my fingernail in there. You can use a plastic pry tool, and there you go. It popped apart. Okay, you can see. Right. I'm going to open this up again. Let's actually go ahead and try and do this side first. So we're going to pull this forward. Oh, that's separating the thing. Yeah, I figured it was going to do that. Well, that means this screen is likely completely dead. Before it was all like horizontal lines, jittering, broken. But yeah, I told the customer that to peel this out, likely it's going to destroy the screen. They said okay because the screen's broken anyways. So next thing we want to do, we're going to go under here. Okay, the camera cable is getting yanked out, so I have to keep separating it from the bezel because this dumb design. Okay, and now I got to get under here somehow and separate the screen plastic stuff here. Okay, so there's this screen adhesive piece here that I have to separate, just like this. Okay. And there we go. Okay. There we go. That's what we want. And here's the screen with all this old adhesive on it. If you want, you can try and reuse this adhesive as much as possible. But it's probably good to use some new double stick tape, but we can try. Anyways, this thing, it just goes on by just sticking it back down. As you can see, they actually put adhesive over the entire thing of this, which I think is crazy. But that's the design. It just sticks together like that. There's no clips or anything. Okay, so that's the first time I've actually seen where they only use adhesive to hold the bezel, depending on the type of computer, because this kind of actually feel like this bezel is there to kind of help hold the screen in. So it's kind of weird that they did that, but all right. We got 4 screws holding this in place, so let's go ahead and remove those. I'm going to flip this upside down so it's easier for me. We didn't put the hard drive in yet either, but I'm going to flip this upside down. And we're going to just get these 4 screws. It looks like we have to switch to a PH0 or JAS0 screwdriver. Okay. And we're going to remove the 4 screws holding this. Hopefully you guys can see. All right, one more here. I can actually feel the screen cracked from peeling all that dumb adhesive out. Okay, let's see if we can pull the screen out now. And okay, we can. You want to be careful again because this LCD, or not the LCD, the webcam cable is kind of stuck to this. All right, so lifting this, and here you can see, now we got the screen. We're going to actually take this screen out. And also we need to fix the camera because the dumb tape thing design. Okay, this dumb tape in design here. So unravel that tape, line this back up. There's a little protruding part here. Get that lined up, get that in. Again, make sure this is all pushed in place properly, and then you can go ahead and stick that back down. Crease that all the way up in there, and then go down there. Okay, we'll probably have to route this once we get the new screen because it uses the screen to kind of help guide it. There's a little bit that you can do like without the screen, but as you can see, it actually uses the entire screen as like the edge to follow. Okay. Now let's go ahead and disconnect the screen. Hold on, let me fix my voice again real quick. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I don't even remember what I gave for the reason I left. I had to use the restroom. Maybe that was what I did. But anyways, let's go ahead and disconnect this cable from the screen here. So we're just going to cut the adhesive here. I'm using a plastic razor blade. You technically don't need to cut the adhesive. You can just peel underneath and then peel it up like normal. Okay. Alright, so we're going to peel this out. There we go. Once you peel this up, just like every other model, let me actually zoom in here. The reassembly part, I'm probably going to have to wait till I get the replacement screen. But I'm going to use my fingernails at the corner or the edges of the connector there. And then I'm going to pull it back just like this. And there we go. So the screen model number, and also the screen when we replace it's going to be basically everything in reverse. But the screen model numbers here, LP156WF6SPK1. So I'm going to have to check what model this screen actually is. But there it is, or how much this will actually cost. But yeah, LP156WF6SPK1. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside. Basically, to put a new screen, you just get the other screen, put it back in, line it up, get that, push this back into place. Usually what I do is line this up, okay, get the cable into place, make sure the outer edges go underneath, right? Once you get that, I use my fingernails to kind of pull it like that while also pulling this, right? And you should actually feel it click all the way in. All right, you'll see this is now, there's no gap there, and then you just tape it back down. But again, I'm gonna wait until I get the replacement screen to put it all back together. Basically, once you do that, put this screen back up, get the 4 screws back in, all right? Everything you'd expect. And of course, you don't want to plug the battery back in until you've done all of that. So for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually roll the adhesive backwards and stick that onto the back cover, so that way it doesn't like stick on here when I open and close it. All right, we're going to flip this back. We're going to close this for now. Let me actually zoom out. And again, if you want to see the complete reassembly, minus the screen, just the bottom cover and everything, I do have a video showing that process. Okay, for now I'm just going to put the hard drive in here just so I don't lose it or anything. Again, I do have a video showing this complete process, so if you want that, feel free to send me a comment and let me know, and I will send that to you. Right? Oop, it's so tough to get this back in right. How do I? Okay, I'm gonna put the bottom in first, and then we'll slide this down. All right, that worked. Right? Is that in as much as it's supposed to go, or is it supposed to go all the way flat? Did I? Okay, you don't want to like damage these cables, so I'm just gonna put it flat. Okay. We'll put the bottom in first, and then we'll let this go down, just like that. Okay, there we go. I had to kind of push this in more, and then drop that, and it goes past to where this foam holds it. Then we can actually get that in if we wanted to. I'm just going to leave the battery in here, so that way when I get the screen and everything, I will be ready. Move the speaker cable out of the way. Okay. When you actually put the battery back in the right way, actually let me get this back out. So you want to reconnect this, of course, and then pull both sides. Again, I have another video showing this kind of stuff. And then I'm just going to drop it in. I'm going to get the top side in first. Drop that in. There we go. All right, and for now, I'm just going to leave this cover on here and all the screws. Hopefully I will remember. I guess technically I can just put the screws lightly in here. Yeah, I'm just going to lightly fit the screws here, just so that it's easier to put back later. Or so I can remember, and I don't have to worry about them getting knocked over or anything. Okay. I'm just loosely fitting all these screws in here. This was a lot of work to do for this, so hopefully the part isn't crazy expensive, because otherwise the customer likely won't want to get this repaired. We'll see. Alright, just very loosely fitting all these screws, like 2-3 turns each. Okay, there we go. And I guess I can also put the 4 screen screws back in as well, temporarily. Get this out of the way. Okay. And we'll just put those 4 screws in as well. Oh, make sure you switch the screwdrivers. So this is the PH0JS0, the other ones were PH1JS1. You don't want to use the wrong screwdriver and accidentally strip the screws, and then be stuck with the screws in there. Okay, there we go. We're going to close this up. Again, don't forget, you had this piece if you're going to put it back the right way. Again, I have another video showing how to do that. But for now, we're just going to leave this stuff all off, including that. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their device as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Let's drop this. Alright, so we're back with this one. We're going to actually take the hard drive back out. I left it disconnected because it's loose in here, and I didn't want it to kind of fall out while I was working on it. Right, we're going to do the same thing with the battery. I think the battery, yeah, it just pops out pretty easily. Oops, I need to mute my notifications real quick. Alright. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to be replacing the screen. It's been a while since I worked on this thing, so basically we're just going to open this back up, rotate it this way. Okay, hopefully everything will stay intact properly because we are going to have to route all this cabling back. But anyways, the screen arrived. We're going to have to cut this thing open. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. The box, I'm a little bit worried because the cardboard they used is somewhat soft and it feels like it got smushed a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully the screen's okay. Okay. The customer's been waiting a while. The shipping took a while for this to arrive. Oh, do I need to cut the sides as well? Okay, so let's see here. Came all bubble wrapped up. Oh, nice. They actually have it in a separate little box here, so maybe it should be okay. Alright, let's see. How can we get this? We're just going to cut in here. Okay, and then we'll cut over here. Cut over here. And cut this, of course. Alright. More bubble wrap. Set that box aside. Oh, there's some tape holding this. Okay, I guess that's interesting. They put like a normal type of receipt paper. I've never seen that before. Okay, and let's go ahead and get this out. Out of here. Okay, got some tape holding this. Interesting, they just use Scotch tape for that. Alright, let's get this thing out of here. And it looks like they taped this plastic on top, so we're gonna have to peel this out first before we put this in. Okay. go. Let's flip this over. Peel this up. All right, matte screen. All right, there we go. So much tape. All right, we're gonna flip this over. We're gonna get this in. I did tape this onto the back here, so gotta peel that back out. All right, now we're gonna zoom in. Okay, so the connector, we just lined it up, of course. Get that into place. Make sure the metal pins are facing up. And then I'm going to use this to pull it into place. It clicks in. Good. All right, looks good. Then we're just going to tape this down over here. All right, let's go ahead and flip this over and make sure all of these cabling will remain in place. Slowly, carefully let this down. Okay. Oop, I left the, I put the 4 screws back in, so I'm gonna have to take those out. I forgot about that. So let's go ahead and get those screws out of here. Gotta switch over to the PH0 or JS0. I'm going to test this without the frame once I get it all back together. Let me drop this back in. I'm going to get this cabling out of the way. Right? Make sure everything lines up. This thing's not lining up right. This tab up here. There we go. Okay. I'm going to hold that in place so I can get the screw in. Oh, I guess I'll have to kind of adjust it first, get the screw in, and then we'll drop it. Okay, there we go. Get this screw up here in. All right. Then we'll tuck all this wiring into place. It's going to be a little tough to tuck this in, it seems. Okay, you got to pull this slightly out. It might help to tuck it in while you're dropping the screen in place. Okay, get that all in. I'm going to make sure this is lined up. Okay, perfect. Make sure it's all lined up and tucked in. Yeah, that's going to be weird. I think we have to lift it up to get it tucked in. Is that going to be a problem if I do that? Okay, let me tuck it in. Tuck that in. I'm lifting the screen very slightly while I tuck this in. Make sure that all goes in place. Perfect. Okay, let that drop down, get that screw into place. Let's make sure that the top here is also, you can see it like, it wants to go underneath. The cabling's all like going under there, so we have to kind of make sure it ends up back outside. Yeah, that's going to be a little tough to make it stay tucked in properly. There we go. And this tugs up there. There we go. Okay. So we got all of that. This is probably going to be a little tricky. We're going to have to align this stuff right. Looks like it's not aligning 100% properly. There we go. Good. Okay. And the last screw here. Alright, so I guess the cover is gonna keep this tucked in the right way because it keeps wanting to come back out. Alright, let's go ahead and get the battery and the hard drive reconnected. I think everything else is reconnected if I remember correctly. So we're going to get the hard drive tucked in. There we go. Drop that back into place. Make sure that's in. Slide that, flip that latch down. Alright, let's go ahead and get the battery plugged in. Make sure you don't put it upside down. Okay. Pull both sides in evenly. There we go. Perfect. Alright, let's see if we can power it up. So we're gonna hold this up like this. And let's see here. Power button's on this side. I might have to plug it in. Yeah, okay, let me go get the plug and we'll be back. Hopefully everything will work okay. But yeah, alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. Let's plug this in. Okay, let's open this up. See the battery charging light is on. Can you see? I don't know. There you go. Let's power it up. Is it turning on? No. Oh, there we go. Now it's turning on. Alright, you can see the MSI. That had me a bit scared. It was taking a while to boot up, but it looks like we should be good to go. I don't know where it's going to show the username stuff, so I'm going to... I guess I'll just move it off camera. But yeah, as you can see, the screen is working well. Okay. So we are going to put the bottom cover back on. The customer told me the battery didn't last long, so we'll probably check about replacing the battery. We'll see what the replacement costs and everything like that, and the customer can use it for a while, see how it goes, if they need to replace the battery or not. Again, the battery model number is on here, BTY-M6J. Okay, and the screen, it's still taking a while. I would highly recommend putting an SSD, if it wasn't already booting from an SSD. I don't remember, it might be already. Okay, we got the CPU fans spinning, the GPU fans, nothing's happening yet. But the computer's still booting, it's still doing the spinning thing there, so I don't know how long it's gonna take. I guess we can go ahead and put the bottom cover on while it's doing that. Alright, I'm just gonna put something in the middle so I can leave it somewhat open. Actually, nah, I should let it close, huh? Okay, I'll let this close. Let's go ahead and put the bottom cover back on. The bottom cover is a little bit tricky to get back because we have this one piece here, and I don't know if it's going to be a problem because of the way it was like bent before. So let's see here. So this thing is going to end up like that. What you do, there's these little, it's going to be tough because the battery's falling out here. Okay, maybe I should make sure and shut this down first so I can work on this without worrying too much. So I'm going to let this finish booting, and then I'll shut it down, and I'll be back. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this laptop. The hard drive's not really blinking or anything, and it's just been spinning non-stop, so I'm going to shut this off. Something else must be wrong with it. Okay, I'm going to try disconnecting this hard drive just in case. Sometimes especially with how it was damaged. It could be the hard drive is having some problems, so let's go ahead and remove this hard drive. It was pretty badly bent, so I'm wondering if the hard drive itself, at least that spinning drive, is damaged or something. Alright, and sometimes that prevents the computer from booting, so let's go ahead and try and turning it on now. Why isn't it turning on? Come on, wake up. There we go. Okay, so now it's preparing automatic repair. Okay, diagnosing. We'll see what happens. So right now I think it's loading from the SSD. This light, it's barely blinking. Right now it's completely off. It just randomly flickers every now and then. So yeah, oh, and you can't see it, but it says diagnosing PC. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with this. I'm hoping it's just the spinning drive that's having some problem and causing it to not want to start up, but we'll find out. Hopefully this diagnosing thing will eventually finish, and then I can just tell it to restart normally and see what happens. I'll let it do this and I'll be back. All right, and I've actually worked on this type of model several times before, so if you just want to see how to put the cover back on, I have a video of that, well, of another model putting it back together. So yeah, anyways, this one's doing some weird stuff, so I kind of just wanted to record it just in case so the customer can kind of see what's going on, and we'll let this go. And I'll be back once it finishes doing whatever it's doing, assuming it's going to actually finish and not just keep spinning like this forever. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, it's just spinning non-stop, so I'm going to put this thing back together for now, so that way I can flip it over and have it right side up. And then we'll see. I'm going to try booting Linux or something after that, but for now I kind of just want to have this right side up so it's easier to work with. Okay. Come on, get back in there. There we go. Alright. We'll get the hard drive back in. Alright, batteries there. Let's go ahead and get this piece back on. I'm going to unplug that. Okay, so this piece, again, I have another video showing this a bit clearer, but basically these little tabs that stick out from the bottom, those tabs that you see, they gotta tuck into the tabs up here. Okay, and then once they do that, this thing can kind of flip forwards. Come on, get in there. Okay, can be a little tricky, but there we go. I think that's good. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and get the bottom cover back on now, and let's go ahead and see. So we got that. We'll get the bottom cover piece here. Okay, we're gonna put back all these screws. I believe it was using the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. Yep, okay. So we'll get these screws back in. I'm gonna get these bottom corner screws first, and then we'll see about getting the back in. And we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can get it to boot up. I'm gonna try and boot actually from my USB after, to see if we can at least boot Linux, because if it can boot Linux, then maybe something happened with the OS. I don't know, it's kind of strange. Oh no, okay, I think this thing, the cover is bent to where I can't even get this piece in. It doesn't want to sit properly. It's semi-sitting in there, but not as much as it should. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get this all clipped in. Okay, get that clipped in. Alright, there we go. Let's go ahead and get these screws back now. And that should be pretty much it. But because this one's doing some weird stuff, I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on. So I guess we'll find out. But yeah, if you just had to replace your screen, you should be good to go. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I am going to try to boot from my USB. One thing I'll also try is we'll see about resetting the battery thing here, the BIOS or CMOS. So we'll see if that helps. I'll push that for about 15 seconds, see if that does anything. It could also be some weird BIOS setting got messed up from disconnecting the battery. I don't think I disconnected the CMOS battery though, so it shouldn't be. But anyways, let's go ahead and see what we got. If you're wondering about putting this piece back on, you basically just stick it all back down. It's all double stick adhesive. There aren't really any clips except for down here, so you kind of want to actually get the bottom part down in first. Alright, let's go ahead and try resetting this button. So we're going to hold that about 15 seconds just to drain the power and see if that's going to somehow get it to do anything different. Okay, we'll hold it about another 5 seconds or so. Okay, there we go. Let's flip this over. Let's see if it's going to power up without the charger. Yeah, I think the battery's like bad. It doesn't hold a charge at all. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and plug this in. Or it could be because I did that battery reset, so let's see. Can I do F12? I'm going to try F12 and see if that does anything. Checking media presence. Okay, I'm going to try with Linux real quick. Or I guess I can even try like the Windows boot. But I'm going to plug this into the USB 3 because earlier he told me the USB 3 ports weren't working. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's restart the computer real quick. Control-Alt-Delete. We're going to press F12 again. And let's see if it will actually boot. Looks like it's not booting from this. So maybe the USB 3 ports, when they got slightly pulled out, got damaged. Okay, let's shut this off. It's just doing this thing, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to try the USB 2 port and see if that works. Okay. F12 again. It's just doing starting over Ethernet or whatever. It's not doing what I want. So let's Control-Delete and we'll try F2 or delete. Let's see if that will take us to the BIOS. It does. Okay, let's see what we got in here. That looks normal. AHCI, that looks normal. Okay, the settings in here look fine. USB configuration enabled. Legacy looks fine. USB stuff is on. I see the windows for the hard drive here. I see my USB here. Actually, I'm going to move that up. So what I'm going to try, let's actually turn this off again. And let's see if it detects it in the USB 3 port. Okay, because before the USB 3 ports weren't working. F2 delete. Okay, boot. And I do see the USB drive there. So I'm going to move that up. Usually it's like F6. Oh no, it's the plus and minus buttons. Okay, so I'm going to move that up. And we'll see if it can actually boot from my USB, from the USB 3 port. We'll let it start. Okay, good, it's starting back up. Hopefully it's going to boot from my USB, not the hard drive. Okay, good, so it's doing that. And we'll see. It looks like it should be okay. So let's go ahead and put this piece back on. Again, this thing has like these very slight clips, but not really much, and they just clip into these little things down here. So we're just gonna line this up. Oh, this thing is not in right. So I'm gonna have to figure this one out. This one is kind of not lining up right, and that's from it falling. But it's definitely booting my Linux thing. So I don't know what's going on with this. It doesn't want to line up right. I think they broke the clips or something when it was dropped because it bent a lot. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to push that in or not. Yeah, no, it kind of goes, but not really. All right, I'm just gonna make sure the Linux boots, and then I'm gonna see about putting back the bezel for you guys to see. Okay. So let this finish. Oh, did it just shut itself off? It just shut itself off, so it didn't even finish. So I don't know what's going on. Let's see, we'll try again. All right, I'm gonna let this boot. I'll be back. Actually, let's go ahead and put the bezel back on while we can. We can worry about this later, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so we'll just get this all lined up. Okay, and then just keep one hand on the back, the other one on the front. Make sure everything gets lined up into place, and then you can just go ahead and stick everything down. Again, it's just double stick adhesive, so there's no clips or anything. Just want to make sure everything sticks. All right, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, it's all stuck back down together, and we should be good to go. Clip these down as well. Okay, looks good. And we'll see if this actually boots or not. I don't know what's going on here. Why is it exiting? Yeah, I don't know why. It just exits and then shuts the computer down for no reason. That's weird. Let's try booting the Windows one then. I'll try booting the Windows installer. Again, we are using the USB 3s that weren't working earlier, so let's see what's going on. Okay, let's see if it'll boot the Windows installer. Alright, so it is booting my Windows installer. Interesting. I'm going to go to the next, and I'm going to try doing repair your computer. And let's see if it will do anything. I'm going to go to troubleshoot, and I'm going to do startup repair on Windows 10 and see if it finds anything. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this.